Hey Internet, Captain Erica here, coming at you with an update with the flip phone experience. For those of you that don't know, I'll link a video, but I switched from a smartphone to a dumb phone over a month ago now, and it has been good. It hasn't been necessarily easy, but it has been a very positive experience. So I wanted to update you guys because I had a few folks on Instagram kind of talking about it, and some family members and stuff that have been curious. So so what I did is late March, I switched to this phone. This is the Kyocera Dura XV. Let me know if you have any questions about that specifically. I can answer them below. But I wanted a flip phone that didn't have social media because social media was becoming a problem for me. I wanted a flip phone because it's a little more private than a phone that, I think we're generally aware that phone apps tend to spy on us, and I just felt like it was too much. So switched to the dumb phone for that because there is no app store. There are no apps beyond the basic tools. And this one actually has quite a few good tools as far as like calculator and, calendaring and all that stuff. But no social media apps and really boring. Texting and calling. That's what I got. So I still wanted to be able to text pretty well, and I wanted my phone to work with my AirPods. It does, so that's great. And then perk of flip phone, of course, is that it's indestructible. So I felt like there was a lot of pros to just, instead of like uninstalling apps and kind of like dumbing down my smartphone, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get a dumb phone. Just go for it. And so far, so good. So I'm going to be looking at my notes kind of as I make this video so that I can remember what I want to say. But overall, the experience is positive. It hasn't necessarily been easy, so I want to talk about that. And I want to encourage you guys also to maybe try something like this out because disconnecting is positive. I think we know that, but it's hard to make the leap. So anyway, this phone is really boring. And the first week when I switched to this phone, I picked it up a million times and I was like, something going on? Ooh, I actually have a message right there. Ooh, that's pretty rare. When it's only texting and calling, it's not Instagram, it's not Facebook, it's not like Amazon, gives you a million apps, notifications, which I'm also trying to get away from Amazon a little bit too. But anyway, baby steps. So it was embarrassing to me how often I was just picking it up to check it, in this really habitual, unconscious way. And so that took a week to kind of get over. And now, I check it because I want to make sure I'm not missing texts from my friends, because I do have a few friends that I like to text. And so generally it's not beeping at me, and I actually leave the sound on. I know a lot of people leave their smartphone sounds off because otherwise it's driving you crazy all the time, and you can turn off all your notifications and everything, but they still get you. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you are an Instagram user, Instagram doesn't give you notifications until you actually pick up your device. So they rely on that weird subconscious thing where we're all picking up our phone, and then the notification pops. And so your brain does this thing where it's like, ooh, notification, a new one, even though it might have been from a couple hours ago. So it's interesting how addictive these apps are designed to be. If you haven't watched it already, check out The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I think it's a great kind of intro to all of the social media addiction stuff. That's a great place to start. So anyway, that was weird, interesting, whatever. And so now I leave my volume on. I'm leaving. I abandoned my phone around the house. I don't carry it around with me. It's been great. Probably one of the biggest benefits of not getting that dopamine hit all the time is how much clearer my mental focus is, and my mind is clearer. So as you guys know, and if you don't know, hi, I am a mom of two young children, and it's being a mom and I'm a stay-at-home mom is the multitasking that I do on a daily basis is pretty nuts sometimes. Someone's everybody has needs, and then the house, I got to take care of the house, and someone's looking for something, and someone's pooped their pants, and why is everything wet? Like that classic, like, there's a lot going on all the time. And so my brain and my attention is like always fragmented. Like I'm always kind of like thinking about 1,000 things at once, and I'm planning all these things in my head to make sure the day goes smoothly. And when you're also looking at your smartphone all the time, it's fragmenting your attention even more. And so you're like bebopping through your apps, and you're checking your Instagram while you're waiting for something to, like water to boil or whatever. And I think it's too much for my brain to handle. And so without the distraction of the smartphone, I have found that even though I don't have a lot of downtime necessarily as a mom, the little moments of downtime that I do have where I can just sit still for a couple seconds, or when the kids are both asleep, which is wonderful, which doesn't happen very often, my brain isn't distracted by the phone. It's doing processes and helping me sort out priorities for the day and helping me remember things that I'm supposed to remember and stuff like that. So my brain is working and my attention isn't so split. So speaking of attention, paying attention to your kids is important, right? We know this. And so when you're holding a smartphone in front of you and the child all the time, even babies understand and notice this, right? And so I wasn't the worst. I wasn't one of those chronic 12 hours a day users or something, but it was enough that my kids notice when I use the smartphone. And so if I have the phone in front of my face, they are, seeking attention from me, because one of the most important things for social human development and what a baby and toddler and children are seeking is interaction and attention from humans. So what happens is they act up or don't behave perfectly or whatever because my attention isn't entirely on them, and they try to like get on the phone or take the phone, or they think the phone's so cool even though it's really not, and stuff like that. And so that was really becoming more and more evident, and I wanted to nip that in the bud. And so they're still fascinated by this thing. They think it's really cool. But it's not the same because I'm not holding it constantly. And I text and stuff, but I text and then there's nothing else to do. So I just get off. So it's a much shorter process than being like text. Oh, I gotta like do this, or oh, gotta check, what this notification means or what people are doing on Facebook. And then you're like getting to scroll terrible doomland. And then your kids are like, Mom, it's been 5 minutes, not like 5 seconds. So anyway, my attention is less fragmented. It's better for my brain. It's better for my kids' brains. And so that has been very obvious. And I'm glad that I'm taking action now, because I know it can be so much worse than what I was doing before. And I don't know, it just kind of makes me sick to think about. So, looking at my notes, I'm not as overwhelmed by like the day-to-day life stuff now, because my attention isn't so fragmented. So I still check my smartphone. I still check in the mornings and in the afternoons, and then sometimes in the middle of the day, which I'm trying not to do, but it is surprising how tempting it can be, especially if you like make a post or post a video or something like that. Like, I want to see what people are saying. And so like there's this fear of like missing out on what's going on. And so the less social media is good, and I think putting boundaries on it and the goal of 2 times a day has been going pretty good, but I can improve. And I think it's been great. So it's amazing, social media, it's like so addicting. I don't know ultimately with my like personal goals and what I want to do with my life, if even 2 times a day is decreased enough. I think it's just going to be kind of a matter of time to figure out if I really even like checking it 2 times a day. Like I want it to, I do like it, but I like, do I actually like it? Or is it just the dopamine centers in my brain that's getting the hits? Like, and so I love talking to my friends on Instagram and on YouTube, and I love hearing your guys' comments and all that stuff. But I don't need to like scroll all the way to the bottom of my Instagram feed every single time. The algorithm messes with it anyway. I have no idea if I've seen everybody's posts or not. And so that like FOMO or fear of missing out, I've got to like let that go. And I'm still not quite there yet. So, but the less social media use has been great. And it also, the separation from the social media when it's not in my pocket all the time, I'm really realizing how not important it is. Like, it's important to me on a level because like I want to talk to you guys, I want to talk to my friends, but it's not important it needs to distract from my real life, like my children and my husband and things important. So balance, right? Logistically speaking, as far as like the transition to the dumb phone, I feel like it's been more than 30 days, but it's been kind of like a 30-day detox challenge. There's a lot of challenge videos on YouTube you can watch that are 30 days. I feel like 30 days isn't quite long enough because I'm still kind of figuring out the logistics of some of the workflows I had on my phone. Because I was a power user. I use I use the photo backups and I use the calendar and I make sure that I check my bank and it's like all on my phone. And so I'm still working out some of the workflows. But I'm happy to report, even though the biggest thing I was worried about was texting, and I can text just fine. T9 texting, the texting where you use the numbers, with the predictive text, I can text just as fast as on my smartphone. The interface kind of sucks on this phone, but it works, and it does do group texting. And so it's enough that I'm not going to go back to a smartphone. And I was really worried about that because I was like, the texting's got to work or I'm going to go back. There's only like 30 emojis, which is kind of lame, but you make do. And so I think with the texting working, and then it does have a basic calendar if I need to put something in there to remind myself, but I do think that I've got to figure out like a paper calendar on the wall or something, because the one on now it's only on my computer and I'm not on my computer enough, and I've been kind of forgetting some things sometimes. So the other big thing for people is that they worry about is Google Maps. As far as Google Maps goes, I haven't missed it much. I have missed it a little bit when I'm like out and about and I'm like, I wonder if there's a, XYZ place around here. That has happened once in the last month and whatever. It wasn't a big deal. I just drove around a little bit. But I know people are worried about it for navigation. And so what I have done is I have used my smartphone. I wanted to go check out a new hiking trail nearby. And I wasn't sure where we were going. So I downloaded the offline map onto my smartphone before we left to the trail, and it worked because the GPS in the smartphone still functions. You just can't make calls or look up new stuff with using data. So it worked in a pinch. It was great. I think an independent GPS might be good someday, but it works for now. It's more important to me to be disconnected from all of that stuff and not have Google Maps like tracking me everywhere than it is to have it. So that has actually been okay. And then another big thing I know people love about smartphones, and I totally get this, is the camera. Oh my gosh, having a good camera in our pocket is, to me, by far the most like coolest thing about smartphones ever. And so I was a little bit worried about that, but I have a point and shoot camera and I'm actually shooting on it right now. It's great. It's been fine. I don't take quite as many pictures, but I always have it nearby on a shelf in the house or in my pocket when we're out. I've been able to get some good pictures of my kids. I haven't been too worked up about the camera on this. The camera on this definitely isn't great, but it is 5 megapixels, so it's just good enough. I can take a picture of something and send it to a friend just real quick if I just be like, oh, hey, check this out. Or like if I need to send like a picture of a product. Sometimes when I'm shopping, I need Cameron to check the ingredients to see if he can eat it because he's allergic to everything. And so it's functionally fine. And for those nice pictures, I do use the point and shoot camera. So that's all been working out well. And so let's see. Yeah, those are kind of like the main things I think people hesitate about, and that's all been good. So with the exception of my still checking my smartphone because I'm using it as a tablet too much, in my opinion. I'm still working on that, and I am still kind of working on how I'm going to do my calendar. I am generally happier. Now, it hasn't like solved my like happiness problems. Like, I have bad days. I have things that make me upset, but it certainly is nice to not scroll through, like doom scroll through Facebook and see all this horrible stuff that's like intentionally designed to make me feel bad about myself, so I'll buy a product. Like, oh, it's so nice to just kind of have some separation from that. So like, yeah, my life isn't perfect, but it's easier to go through life without being extra sad for no reason. I would just say 30 days isn't enough for me personally. It might be for you. I would try at least uninstalling, your apps and everything, and just seeing how mentally refreshed you are. Because making the switch to a flip phone, I know, could be a challenge for some people, just like with your phone plan and all that junk. So I do encourage you guys, try it, and let me know if you are or you have tried something like this in the past or have switched back to a flip phone. Let me know in the comments. I kind of want to see where people are at and what they're thinking, because I feel like so many of us feel like we need to make the switch or like do something, but we're not sure what to do. And so I'm just letting you know, for me personally, switching to the flip phone has been great. I've been very happy with everything, and the phone's indestructible. It's not even made in China. It was made in Japan, which is kind of cool, and they make good stuff in Japan. So really happy. It should last forever, hopefully. And yeah, new me is me 10 years ago, apparently, because that's the last time I had a flip phone. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this isn't like the normal content on this channel, but I'm hoping to just generate some conversation. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.